From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
We can protect these DACA recipients and provide solutions to better secure our borders at the same time. That's a win-win.
Arizona Senator Jeff Flake pushing for a new bill for DACA recipients on the last day to renew their status.
Plus, the Arizona State Fair is back. We're looking into changes to security following the mass shooting in Las Vegas.
And new details on the demand to remove Arizona's Confederate Monuments, including a petition delivered to Governor Doug Ducey.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Blakely McHugh.
And I'm Lysandra Marquez. Thank you for joining us. Senator Jeff Flake introduced the Border Security and Deferred Action Recipient Relief Act, which, among other border security measures, is aimed at protecting DACA recipients. The proposal comes on the last day for DACA recipients to renew their status after the program was rescinded last month.
The President and Congress both want to improve border security. We both want to respond to the threat of dangerous gangs and drug cartels. We both want to arrive at a legislative solution for the rescission of the DACA program that benefits those who wish to continue contributing to their communities and to the American dream.
The bill would provide conditional resident status for up to 10 years to DACA recipients or children who have been living in the U.S. continuously since 2012. Here in the Valley, volunteers working to help those maintain their protected status say it's been a difficult and emotional process, since not everyone has been eligible to renew again. Daniela Benitez, a DACA recipient herself and volunteer at Lucha, a pro-immigrant advocacy group, says she's seen it firsthand.
It's heartbreaking to see those people talking about like their stories, telling us like, oh, I have children or I have like my family to take care of, and that is what that is the reason why I'm doing that and why I'm helping people, because like it breaks my heart to see so many people coming in and just really having no idea.
In anticipation of any new bills from Congress, there will be forums hosted by Lucha next week in the Valley to continue to help those who cannot renew their DACA status.
Another hope for DACA recipients is the bipartisan DREAM Act. It's been around for years, but supporters say this year it might pass. Cronkite News reporter Adrian St. Clair explains.
Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican from South Carolina, stood with his lead co-sponsor, Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat from Illinois, and said he's never felt better about the chances of passing the DREAM Act, a bill that will make elements of the now temporary DACA program permanent.
I've never seen the stars align like they are today.
Those aligning stars include a productive hearing with the Senate Judiciary Committee, growing public support, and recent positive statements by President Donald Trump.
Let me tell you why I feel most hopeful this time. The president, I think, has the right attitude about solving this problem. He ran a very difficult and tough campaign on immigration. When he speaks, I think people in the House on my side of the aisle are going to listen.
The Trump administration announced in early September the wind down of the DACA program over the next 6 months, giving Congress the responsibility to come up with a solution for the nearly 800,000 DACA recipients across the country. But in spite of the optimism from Graham and Durbin, Arizona dreamers like Maxima Guerrero from Mesa said she's worried about the details of the deal.
What will come at the expense of my pathway to legalization.
And Gilbert resident Jose Patino is concerned about a gridlock with a lot of talk and no action.
My concern is the legislators are not moving at all.
But legislators are aware of the deadline they face.
The March 5th deadline is going to make us act. Failure is not an option.
In Washington, Adrian St. Clair, Cronkite News.
Phoenix Mayor Greg Stant has announced his plan to run for Congress today.
I'm running for Congress because we deserve better than what we're getting. With new leadership, we can remind Congress about what it's supposed to do. Get together and solve problems to make people's lives better, just like we do in Phoenix.
Stant is running for Arizona's 9th congressional district, now held by fellow Democrat Kyrsten Sinema. Sinema announced her bid to challenge Senator Jeff Flake last week. Stanton will have to resign his mayorship, but not until he submits his congressional election petitions.
Arizona Congressman Trent Franks enjoyed a victory this week when the House passed his bill. The Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act that bans abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Passage in the Senate has been a hurdle in the past, but supporters are more optimistic this year, as Cronkite News reporter Trevor Fay tells us from our Washington bureau.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham hopes to do something that hasn't happened for several years, get a Senate vote on Arizona Congressman Trent Franks' Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act.
We're going to take it up in the Senate. I can assure every pro-life group out there, this will be on the floor of the Senate sooner rather than later.
Previous attempts have failed because supporters could not get 60 votes needed to stop a filibuster on the bill. But Graham and representatives of pro-life groups said today that times have changed.
A majority of Americans, including women, young people, Hispanics, even a third of all Democrats, support this legislation.
Opponents argued that the bill denies women the right to choose, which can be especially important if birth defects are detected after the 20-week mark. But pro-lifers say 20 weeks is the critical point at which a fetus can feel pain, and they say the bill allows exceptions for rape, incest, and to save the mother's life.
Not only does this legislation provide legal protections for the unborn child who can feel pain, but it also protects mothers.
Supporters note that President Donald Trump has promised to sign the bill if it reaches his desk, and Graham said he is optimistic that he can find enough Democratic votes to get the bill to the president.
We got 3 votes from our Democratic friends last time. The more you educate, the more you vote, the larger the number gets.
But Graham would need 8 Democrats to come on board. Graham said he expects Senate leadership to bring it to a vote soon. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
Officials with Planned Parenthood of Arizona told us that they don't think Graham can get the votes to get the bill out of the Senate. And if it does, they're ready to go to the courts, which have overturned similar measures.
Police are continuing to investigate the mass shooting that happened in Las Vegas that took the lives of 58 people and injured more than 500 others. Police confirmed that the shooter had rented other rooms in Vegas and Chicago that coincided with other music festivals, and that it was clear he planned to escape after the massacre before ultimately taking his own life. Honors and tributes for the victims of the massacre have gone on across the country. At last night's National League wildcard game, a moment of silence was held for the victims, including Cristiana Duarte, a University of Arizona graduate who had previously worked for the Diamondbacks. The University of Las Vegas football team will be wearing specially designed helmets to honor the victims of the shooting, and a pregame ceremony will take place to honor victims and first responders before Saturday's game. Meanwhile, police still have not figured out the motive behind Sunday's shooting. In Congress, a Republican-led bill to ban bump stocks, which can be used to make semi-automatic guns fire full auto, which were used to modify many of the guns used by Las Vegas shooter. The NRA also came out in support of the review for additional regulation on bump stocks.
With the events in Vegas, many are wondering how events in Arizona could be affected. Reporter Sydney Eisenberg is at the Arizona State Fairgrounds to see how security there could be changing.
1 million visitors are expected to come through the state fair during its 3-week period, and each one of those million visitors can expect to be screened by security. Visitors to the Arizona State Fair can expect bag checks and security screenings by uniformed officers at each entrance. Weapons are not permitted. Officers will also be stationed around the fairgrounds. Captain Jennifer Borquez says that what happened in Las Vegas does not directly affect their security plan.
Our security plan is continually evolving as we gather intelligence from our analysts and our department. We don't have any intelligence at this time that there's any security risks to the Arizona State Fair. We want everyone to come down here and have a good time.
The State Fair opens up tomorrow and runs through October 29th. Live at the State Fairgrounds, Sydney Eisenberg, Cronkite News.
More than 1,000 signatures were delivered to Governor Doug Ducey this morning on a petition demanding the removal of Confederate monuments on state property.
We want to rename the Jefferson Davis Memorial Highway, and we also believe that the states should not be using any taxpayer dollars to prop up Confederacy.
In 2015, Ducey said he would report the removal of Davis's name to replace it with an Arizonan icon. However, earlier this year, he said, quote, "It's important people know our history. It's not my desire to tear down any monuments or memorials," end quote. Today, Progress Now Arizona, the Arizona Coalition for Change, and the NAACP dropped off a petition regarding Confederate monuments on state land. They want leadership from Ducey, whether that be renaming the monuments or just holding a public meeting about it.
Protesters filled the city council chambers Wednesday to tell the city that they broke a promise that was made 20 years ago regarding the Chinese Culture Center. Outside, they marched around the chambers shouting no permit for True North. The protesters believe that the Cultural Center is a historic landmark and should be preserved. The city of Phoenix sold the property to True North companies for $10.5 million last June. They feel that the city is giving the property to a group who wants to destroy culture.
Monument, basically. It's a symbol of cultural tolerance, and it's a symbol of just accepting the people around you, basically. So I feel like that if the Culture Center were to go down, it would show a lot of bad things.
The Cultural Center was not on the agenda, so the council couldn't comment. Mayor Greg Stanton did say that he had only met the owner of True North once, and that was to try to negotiate a settlement between the community and the company. Apples, flowers, books. How do you thank a teacher for their service?
It is World Teacher Day, and coming up on Cronkite News, you'll meet a middle school teacher who is guiding her students through debate and conversation instead of textbooks.
Plus, Compadre Academy is now sharing campus space with an Arizona State University prep school and offering more choices for their education.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now, more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
What's the issue with this video? Let me show you. As you can see, the school bus is stopped with the stop arm out. Now the car behind him is following the law. He's stopped, but the cars passing by are not. Tolleson Union High School District wants to stop that behavior by installing video cameras on its buses. When the flashing red stop sign comes out, that means stop, but a lot of drivers don't see it that way.
What we're finding is more and more people are running through and not observing our stop arm camera, the stop arms when they actually deploy. We've got just an incredible amount of safety factors and issues that happen through that.
More school districts across the country are turning to this technology to monitor how many vehicles actually follow the stop arm laws.
And once the stop arm is activated and comes out, the stop arm cameras detect any motion that happens between the front of the bus at this area and the back of the bus. They take still shots of the oncoming vehicle's driver's license plate, and then they take a shot of the vehicle, and then they also take rolling video feed.
Authorities can't use the footage to prosecute violators here in Arizona. However, the district uses the data to track hotspots and potentially reroute a bus. They can also use this information to request law enforcement patrol the area during pickup and drop-off times.
I think it's good to have cameras on there also because sometimes there's cars that don't pay attention, so that's going to help them see better that there's cars that are not following the rules, so it's safety for our children when they get off the bus.
The district has 20 school buses with the cameras installed. They're planning on installing this technology in 18 more buses by the end of November.
You just can't put a price tag on the value and the cost of a life.
There are currently 15 states that have stop arm camera laws. However, Arizona isn't one of them. West hopes that the data from the stop arm cameras will raise awareness and push the state to look into this issue.
ASU Preparatory Academy's Tempe High School just started sharing space with Compadre Academy in Tempe. Now the schools are partnering to offer more choices to Compadre students. Marcia Opong takes us to the combined campus.
It's like knowing that how I was last year and then coming to how I am this year, I actually feel like I'm actually going to graduate with better grades.
Alicia Ibarra, a 16-year-old sophomore at ASU Prep, is taking courses to get her ready for her next step, college.
It helps me to like pay attention and like realize that I need to finish school and like get it done.
Ibarra is taking the classes required for acceptance into state universities, advanced math, science, and foreign language, and that's the goal of this partnership, according to the CEO of ASU Prep.
A student should not go to college because they didn't have that as an option.
Starting junior year, students can begin earning college credit as well to give them a head start.
Just think about the potential of what we can be as a school where we can actually ensure that all of our kids are actually college graduates to be productive citizens out there.
All students can achieve at the highest levels when given the right opportunity.
Ibarra says her classes are tough, but she's focused on the end goal.
After you get used to it, it's a lot better.
The school says a total of 133 students in the past year have graduated from ASU Prep with 295 college credits earned. In Tempe, Marcia Opong, Cronkite News.
Each student at an ASU Prep receives guidance and mentorship to start exploring their future career interests before they graduate. Students at Compotter will also have access to the college prep curriculum starting in November.
Today on World Teacher Day, we're highlighting the unique style of one Valley teacher. Cronkite News reporter Monica Sampson takes us to Ingleside Middle School in Arcadia to meet a teacher with an unorthodox style.
Here at Ingleside Middle School, eager 7th graders bustle into Dr. Border's first period social studies class. Pens and papers are out, ready to answer today's question.
Does Abraham Lincoln deserve to be thought of as the great emancipator?
Students rush to write their arguments because today's history lesson will not be a lecture. Dr. Border teaches solely through debate.
I feel like most students are more apt to speak out and also formulate their own opinion because they get to talk.
It's debate time, and hands shoot up. Behind me are the textbooks of Dr. Border's classroom, but that doesn't mean they're being used. Dr. Border told me she's only ever used these textbooks once during the academic year. Why? She wants to focus more on discussions.
I feel like he was a good one because he tried to help the slaves.
Students like Easton Zapata, who says Dr. Border's style of teaching is his favorite.
I like discussing things because it helps you learn different experiences from what people think and how people learn different and their different type of thoughts than yours.
Today, Zapata and his teammates disagreed with one another. But after a debate, Zapata and his teammates usually high-five all around. And for Dr. Border, that's what she loves seeing in her students.
At the end of the day, or at the end of the week, when you know that things have just gone right, you just know it was better. It was just good, and you feel good about what you've done.
The Institute of Child Education's mission for the day is to ensure that the needs of future generations will continue to be met by teachers. And Dr. Border seems to meet that in her classroom. In Scottsdale, Monica Sampson, Cronkite News.
Through World Teachers Day awareness, the day's sponsor, UNESCO, says they hope to have 69 million teachers by 2030, to have someone in every primary and secondary classroom worldwide.
According to the Phoenix Rescue Mission, there are over 36,000 homeless people living in Arizona.
A new program in Tempe is trying to help some of these people get back on their feet. Coming up on Cronkite News, the work program that is hoping to make those in Arizona who are homeless become self-sustaining.
And we're on your weekend temperatures and full 7-day forecast coming up next.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it?
The City of Tempe provides jobs for people who are homeless. Holly Bach reports the city plans to be one of the first employers.
It's a great program. It allows people to regain back dignity.
Tempe Works is the first program of its kind in Arizona designed to help those who are homeless become self-sustaining.
We're going to provide part-time jobs within the city
as well as wraparound services such as case management, assistance with housing, and transportation to and from the work site.
We're going to hire some of the first employees into the program, working for solid waste, washing and repairing garbage containers, and working in our green organics yard, assisting with the process of green organics to compost.
Those workers will start at $10 per hour. Program participants will receive housing and utilities, uniform, transportation, and items needed to maintain a job.
They can also come here to our food pantry and receive assistance with any kind of hunger relief needs, not only while they're in the shelter, but also when they move into housing and they're getting established and trying to get back onto self-sufficiency, they can continue to access services through us.
A shower unit is also available to help workers clean up.
This unit and its predecessor, it helps individuals not only land jobs, but keep jobs.
Churches in the area provide volunteers to help program participants get back on their feet.
We get to know folks, they get to know us, and in some ways, we impact each other's lives.
They're starting off this program with 4 new jobs that will hopefully be filled by the end of the year.
And Holly, I'm sure that a mobile shower is especially helpful with the high temperatures we see here in the valley.
That's right, especially when the temperatures are up towards the triple digits, like similar to where we are now. We are currently at 97 degrees here in Phoenix, and as you can see, this is the highest temperature around the country, with El Paso coming in close at 89 degrees. Here in Phoenix, we're seeing temperatures up north, in the Grand Canyon at 76, Show Low at 79, and Phoenix at 97 degrees. Coming in closer to our valley, we're seeing temperatures at 90s all around. 93 in Cave Creek, 96 in Scottsdale, and 96 in Chandler. Now going into the afternoon, these temperatures will go down. We're going to see temperatures in the mid to low 80s. And going into our weekend, temperatures are going to stay up there, 98 degrees going into the weekend. And then on Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see these temperatures drop a little bit, 89 degrees as our high on Monday and Tuesday. I'm Holly Bach, live from the Weather Center.
There's a building in Seattle called a living building. It was built under the leadership of one of the founders of Earth Day and what could soon be built here in Arizona. A living building is one that is self-sufficient in terms of relying on natural resources for energy. The electricity it uses comes from sunlight, and the water comes from the rain that falls on its roof. Dennis Hayes, who oversaw the Seattle living building, says he wants Arizona State University to do the same.
Tried to use principles of ecology to have a building on any site function pretty much like the natural ecosystem did prior to that. So if you're in Phoenix, that's a bunch of succulents and cactuses.
Hayes met with leaders at ASU to discuss the living building, but no plans have been made to go forward with the project.
Yoga is a great way to stay healthy and relaxed.
But it might also be a great way to prepare for a football game. Coming up on Cronkite News, how this Valley football team is using the lotus pose to make touchdown throws.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
What are you doing? Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
A local yoga teacher is expanding her practice to athletic programs in her area. Cronkite News reporter Devin Gooden went to Castile High School to see how this addition to their football training benefits the team.
Every Tuesday morning, Castile High School's football team begins their day with yoga.
However, this morning workout isn't just focused on getting stronger, but on centering their minds.
I'm teaching them that mental component, how to calm themselves down, how to stay present, so you can just focus on right now, because that's really all that matters.
She always tells us to have our mind and our body on the field with us at the same time.
The class focuses on what instructor Donna Chasen believes are the most important muscles, hips and hamstrings. Chasen draws on her own experience as a college athlete and a sports injury that tore both her ACL and meniscus.
We work on mobility and flexibility. So as an athlete, physically, that's going to give you a better range of motion. So physically, they're going to perform better.
We haven't had any severe or major injuries this year, really ever since we've worked with Donna, even for the last 2 years.
Yoga is an essential part of the Castile football program. Head coach Spencer Stowers wants to develop what he calls a fully equipped athlete.
The biggest part that Donna brings outside of the flexibility is the mental aspect, and psychologically what she talks about with our kids on a weekly basis is something that they look forward to, and it really transcends to the field as well.
Jason began working with Castile football about 1.5 years ago, and since then expanded into 4 different divisions and 5 different schools. She hopes more will follow suit and adopt her program. In Gilbert, Devin Gooden, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
Thursday on Arizona Horizon, Congress has failed to renew funding for the Kids Care program, and we'll tell you about an ASU-sponsored hackathon aimed at doing good for society. That's Thursday, 5:30 and 10 on Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour, America Addicted. Our series continues with a look at how the opioid crisis has hurt the nation's workforce. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.